Alrighty, welcome everyone. It's that time again. Yep, I'm gonna roll for some random statistics. I don't know what I'm gonna build. I just want to build something. So let's make some rolls on some characters and we'll build something. It's getting later. It's like 7 p.m. now, so I'm getting tired and stuff, but I like doing this. I'm gonna do it. I've already done all my uploads for the day. I did an extra upload and I added an extra video and for this channel. I'm gonna get the first episode of the prep session, which is I guess what I'm gonna call it. It no longer has Tee&D in the title, but who cares? It's just the prep session, episode 1, Clash of the Crypt. That'll go up today, pretty soon. It's just uploading. I'm not really gonna make thumbnails because it takes so much time. But I want to do another build. I already did a build today. I did a straight classed artificer 1 to 20. Oh no, I ended up multi-classing, but I did an artificer. It was really fun. It was cool and powerful. 2 roll groups. Let's roll across. Boom. Oof. 14. 13. 14. 14. Whoa. 14. 16. Wow. What a character. That's crazy. 14, 13, 14. 14, 14, 16. That's so high mathematically. It's so versatile. It's +2 on everything except one thing, and you can fix that. Whoa. What do I even do with that? Okay, let's roll the other one and see if it's even half as interesting. I doubt it, but let's see. 13. 12. 14. 15. 11. 12. Darn, we were on a roll there. I was honestly hoping for a 16 or a 10, because then it would be like a royal flush of stats. Because it was at one point 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and then it could have had 16 or 10, of course. Not even halfway as interesting as 14, 13, 14, 14, 14, 16. So I'm just going to delete it right away and just start imagining what I can do with a +2 in everything to start. What the fuck? What do I even... And then it's got a stat that starts as a +3 and it can get bumped. What do I even do? I mean, I feel like we take a +2, +1 race to do +2 in our 16 to make it an 18, and then make our 13 our 5th 14, so we have only 14s. Let me just add this stat block all together. I mean, I could just do it by multiplying 14 and then adding the differences, but I'm still going to do it the whole way because I'm dumb. It's 85 total. Did I fuck it up? With that, before the 16, it's 69. It's 80 fucking 5, dude. That's huge. That's bonkers. What do we do with that? Multiclassing like that isn't that good. What's good at stuff like that? Like a bard? Just for all of our efficiencies? Or the jack of all trades? Or V-human and a feat. A +1 feat. 14 across and variant human and an 18. That's tempting. That's tempting, because we could then put the feat, the 13 anywhere and take whatever feat bumps it. That's so tempting. Are there any cool racially locked feats that I haven't ever built around? Bow down, 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 down. No, I know what I'm gonna do. I'm going to use this weird stat block to build, finally, the fast hands rogue that I've been talking about in every build that I've been talking about it. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, with my ability scores, I'm going to put my 16 in dexterity, and I'm going to put 14s everywhere else. Int, whiz, ka. I'll put a 14 in strength, and then I will put a 13 in con, and then I will choose custom lineage. Mostly a human, probably. Nothing crazy. We're going to put the +2 into dexterity and make it an 18. And we're going to take the feat, Tavern Brawler. Ding. And we're going to add +1 to our constitution, bring it to 14. Our unarmed strikes deal a d4 of damage. Yay! Whenever we hit a creature with an unarmed strike or an improvised weapon on our turn, we can use a bonus action to attempt to grapple the target. Yay! We don't care about either of those. What we care about is that we are proficient with improvised weapons, and we get a +1. We love it. We love being proficient with improvised weapons, and we'll talk about why when we talk about why. We could grab a proficiency, but I think for a thief rogue, it is necessary to take dark vision. And, I don't know. Maybe we know halfling because we're part halfling a little bit. Maybe we're a human halfling mix, a half halfling, a three-quarterling, something like that. Yeah, we're a three-quarterling, thief, rogue. And we've figured out that the way to make up for our lack of strength is our versatility and our ability to use objects and items. So we're going to grab our first level in rogue because what else would we do? We're going to say that we are an urchin background, I think. Sounds like fun to me. Ding. Gives us stealth and sleight of hand, a disguise kit, and it would give us thieves' tools, but we get a different one. We're going to go with the poisoner's kit because it has a cool interaction. We could also go with the alchemist supplies in order to brew our own alchemist's fire or acid. It's up to you, I think. I guess I'll go with alchemists. I've sold myself. Alchemist supplies. Why not? And we know the city's secrets. Cool. I'm going to name this character Twixt. Makes sense for their character's lineage, makes sense for their job as a go-between amongst rogues and stuff. Yeah, Twixt. Right in the middle. Part of something and part of something else. Okay, other checks. We would love to have acrobatics or athletics, and both maybe. Investigation and perception are must-haves for any good rogue. We already have stealth and sleight of hand. Maybe we take deception, because it's quite useful if we have to lie our way out of something. We're going to grab acrobatics for sure, just for grapples, mostly. And actually, I think we will take athletics because we get some jumping stuff later, so we might as well have both. Then we're more mobile than we could be otherwise, which is really good. Let's take our expertise in stealth and in our thieves' tools, so that we can thieve real good. Great. We get Thieves' Cant, we can mix that into our conversations, and we get 1d6 of sneak attack. Lovely. I think we're going to be a melee rogue mostly, so that's what we're going to do. Okay, great. We've got our background. We've got our level 1. We've got our race. Let's choose our equipment. This is going to be one of the most important things that we do here. And so I think I'm going to end up gold buying, but I have to check. It's still 4d4 times 10. Ooh, it's tough because we might actually not get enough gold here. But I think 40 is enough for everything we brutally must need. I'm going to randomize it with the once. 7, that's not good, but it's okay. 70 gold, that's not great. We wished for more than that. It might be worth it not gold buying at that point, but we're going to get a rapier. It's 25, right? God damn. Okay. Takes us to 45. We would love, we can't get studded leather. Wait, we would start with normal leather, right? Normal leather, that's fine. We can do normal leather for 10. 10 gold, leather armor. 35. And that's most of what we need. We would like to have that burglar's pack, because it's really good to have. It gives us the ball bearing, some string, some candles, a crowbar. Yeah, it's just really good. And some rope, which is necessary. 16 gold is a steal. 25. 19 left. Yikes. And then oil. This is where it starts to get interesting. Oil is 0.1. We'll get 10 for 1 gold piece. Caltrops. They're 5 copper. 10. It's 20 of them for a gold piece. Yeah. It's 20 bundles of them, to be clear. So I have to add. 1 is 20 items. 2, yeah, 0.5 gold pieces each. So it would be 10 for 200 items. 10 caltrops bag of 20, and then 10 again. Because that's 5, yeah, that's half a gold, and then a full gold. So we have 20 bags of caltrops. 200 caltrops total. Each. Or 400 bags of caltrops total, and we spent 1 gold piece on it. Oh, sorry, 17, because we spent 1 gold piece on it. I don't think we can afford a hunting trap, which I would like to have. Oh, it's 5 gold. Great. Hunting traps are great. Creature that steps on the plate must succeed on a DC 13 Dex saving throw or take 1d4 piercing damage and stop moving. It has to break free. It's limited by the length of the chain, and it can make a DC 13 strength check, freeing itself or another creature. And every failed check deals 1 piercing damage. Nice. More importantly, it stops them moving completely. We can only have one, because we are only going to buy one. Actually, we can afford 2. I'm going to do exactly that. We have 2 hunting traps. That's 10 gold. 7 gold pieces remain. I don't think there's anything else that's super useful for us to buy. We have a tinder box. We'd love to have a wizard who can cast Firebolt. Whatever. Okay, I'll just say with our last 7 gold pieces, we have alchemist supplies, and we're going to spend these 7 gold pieces on reagents and ingredients and chemicals to make probably acid. And so we will be flat broke at the start of the game. But we have a rapier, and so we're set. Okay, here's what we got. We got a rapier and we got leather armor, and that's it, right? Not quite. We got some other stuff too. We got these hunting traps, which we can drop down, and creatures that step on them have to make a dex save, and that's cool. We've got some caltrops, and we've got a lot of them. We spread them over a 5-foot area, and they must succeed a DC 15 dexterity saving throw if they enter the area, or they stop moving on this turn, and they take 1 piercing damage. Their walking speed is reduced by 10 feet until they regain at least 1 hit point, and they would have to move at half speed in order to make the save. In order to just get through without making the save. And they would have to notice it first. They might notice it. They might not. They might not care. They might just run past it. If they do, they take a piercing damage and they stop moving. And then their walking speed is reduced as they go, ow, 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 because they have D4s in their feet. It's great. We also have a big bag of ball bearings. It fills a square area that's 10 feet on a side, and a creature moving across it needs to make a DC 10 dex save or fall prone. It's just like grease, but the creature moving through it at half speed doesn't need to make the save. It's still pretty cool. We could have bought 7 more of those, but I decided just to keep the 1. We could get more too. We also have flasks of oil. We have a bunch of them. We got a couple from our pack and a couple more that we bought. Here's the deal with oil. Oil's cool. As an action, you can splash the oil in this flask on a creature within 5 feet of you, or you can throw it up to 20 feet, shattering it on impact. You make a ranged attack against a target creature or object, treating the oil as an improvised weapon. That is your action. Your action to use this object. As an action, you can splash this oil or throw it. It is the use an object action, not the attack action. This is very important. Make a ranged attack against a target creature or object, treating the oil as an improvised weapon. Remember we took Tavern Brawler? This is why. On a hit, the target is covered in oil. If the target takes any fire damage before the oil dries after 1 minute, so within the next minute, if they take any fire damage, they will take an additional 5 fire damage from the burning oil, and if lit, the oil burns for 2 rounds and deals 5 fire damage to any creature that enters the area or ends its turn in the area. I think that this is the same, and it's hard to say, and I've looked this up and I'm not sure. It's going to be something that you have to talk about with your DM, absolutely. Is this, it burns for 2 rounds part? Effectively the part of if you hit them with a weapon as well, because it only is listed in the you can also pour a flask of oil on the ground to cover a 5-foot square area, provided that the surface is level. If lit, the oil burns for 2 rounds and deals 5 fire damage to any creature that enters the area or ends its turn. Does the oil that you've splashed on someone damage them for 2 turns? If so, that's really good. If not, that's something you need to figure out with your DM. I think rules as written, no, but I feel like it's weirdly worded, so it might be rules as intended, yes. And it might be up to you or the DM. I think it makes sense if you want to rule it the other way, but I think I would probably rule it that it only does the 5 extra fire damage once if you splash it directly on a creature. However, of course, if you pour it out and just light it on fire, it lasts for 2 turns, like a bonfire that deals 5 flat fire damage. Great. Oil is cheap. It comes in 1 pint clay flasks. It comes in pints. And this is going to be our bread and butter pretty soon. If we don't, we'll talk about level 1 in a second. Let me just make sure I've got everything done. I think I do. Oh, I have to apply the stats. So I do that. We have an 18 dexterity, a 14 strength, a 14 constitution, 14 intelligence, 14 wisdom, and 14 charisma. That's fucking awesome. That's so crazy. View our character sheet. So at level 1, we are a classic standard rogue who can do classic standard rogue things. We can Tavern Brawler, and we can make an unarmed strike, or when we hit a creature with an unarmed strike or improvised weapon as our action, we can use a bonus action to try to grapple them. We do have athletics proficiency, so we have a +4. So our highest action economy thing that we can do really is to throw a flask of oil at somebody. Which unfortunately, like I can't make it held or used, so let me make a custom item for it. Stat, it will be dex because it is a ranged attack, and I've looked into this, and even with Tavern Brawler, it's still a ranged attack. It says make a ranged attack roll. It's your dex, so we add our dex to it. Die count, it doesn't exist for damage for oil because it doesn't have any damage. Range is 20. AoE size is none. Action is our activation. Display as attack, we will do. Name it improvised thrown weapon. It's not affected by martial arts, and we are proficient with it because of Tavern Brawler, right? So we are proficient with these because it is an improvised thrown weapon. So anytime we use an object that counts as an improvised weapon, or just says make a ranged weapon attack, which is specifically the grenade-like weapons, Flask of Acid, Alchemist's Fire, Oil Flasks, and Holy Water, then we get to add our proficiency bonus to hit with that ranged attack roll to try and get it onto a creature. Very cool. If the attack roll deals damage, then we get to add our dexterity bonus to the damage of it as well, which is really nice. Okay, the prep session episode 1 is up. Yay. Okay, so I've got this improvised thrown weapon. I think I got everything right. I don't fucking know. Improvised thrown weapon, no snippet, no description, ranged attack, 20 feet. Some of them might be different, but we'll figure that out when we get there. The oil for right now is 20 feet, and it's +6 for us to hit with it. So what we could do is we could use our action to throw oil at somebody, and then we could run up to them and use a bonus action. When you hit a creature with an unarmed strike or an improvised weapon on your turn, you can use a bonus action to attempt to grapple the target. So we could use a bonus action to try to grapple them, and that might be really cool. We could coat them in oil and then try to grab them. And hold them still for our whoever has fire damage. Hopefully somebody has fire damage to shoot them with fire and deal more fire to them, and we hold them and then we let them go, and we or maybe we don't because we're a beast. That's pretty cool. If we can get advantage on our attack, however, we might want to just run up to them and stab them with our rapier for 1d8 +4, plus, if we have advantage, 1d6 of sneak attack for basic rogue damage. I'm not going to even calc it because it's basic level 1 rogue damage. We've got a really good AC because we have high dex. We've got a really good attack roll because we have high dex. We just have high dex. We're just a high dex rogue who happens to have a +2 in literally everything else, which is crazy. No, the Tavern Brawler, the improvised thrown weapons can never sneak attack, I don't think, because thrown weapons can't. Yeah, you simply treat it as an improvised attack. You can't allow sneak attack on those. It's just too strong. Because then all we would ever have to do is use improvised weapons, and that would be great for us, but it would be too strong. So we're going to be totally okay, and also it's not thematically accurate, which I agree with this poster on Stack Exchange for writing that. So we just have this improvised thrown weapon. Oh, that's just improvise, right? Just to do the improvise action. Do whatever the fuck you want. That's so good that that's there. I'm so glad. We do have Tavern Brawler. That's nice. It's cool. We can punch things if we want to. I mean, we deal a d4, but we'd rather be sneak attacking with our rapier. Still, this is good. We're a classic level 1 rogue. It's squishy. It's hard to deal with everything as a level 1 rogue, but at least we can run around and throw oil at people and hopefully fuck their day up. We do have candles and stuff that we could light and use to light the oil on our own. And if you want to, you could not go custom lineage, and you could go instead and take, well, you could take Magic Initiate Wizard and throw oil on people and then hit them with a firebolt or something on the next turn and try to light them on fire, but it won't deal sneak attack. It's probably not worth it. Probably your best move is to just attack things at this level. It'll get a lot more interesting pretty soon. Okay, let's go to where it's more interesting, which is really level 3. We'll talk about level 2 quickly. First off, we get cunning action. Actually, only off we get cunning action. As a bonus action, we can dash, disengage, or hide. This is the best. It's the best. It's so good. It's such a good feature. Oh, it's so good. Oh, it's so fucking good. So we take that, we hide behind something, then we run up and sneak behind somebody and we try to stab them with advantage, and that's probably pretty good for us. Or we can hide and we can throw a thing at them with advantage from hidden. We can throw oil at them or something, and that's pretty cool. Also, maybe we've gotten the time and maybe a little bit of money to maybe make a vial of acid from our alchemist's supplies. Maybe not, but maybe. I'm still gonna add it. Boom. Because we're gonna have some soon. Vials of acid. You can splash this within 5 feet of you or throw the vial up to 20 feet, shattering it on impact. It's the same. You make a ranged attack, treating the acid as an improvised weapon, not a ranged weapon. On a hit, the target takes 2d6 acid damage, and we get to add our dexterity to that. It's still hit or miss, but it's pretty cool, and we're proficient with it. And it uses our dex, because it's still a ranged attack with an improvised weapon. So, we can bonus action do that and then throw that and maybe hit them with 2d6 plus 4, which is almost our sneak attack damage. It's like pretty close. But probably we want to run up to creatures, try to get advantage however we can, and stab them. One thing is you could take Magic Initiate Wizard at level 1 and just be better up until level 4, because you could just have a familiar. But you don't get that +1, and I want to be all those stats rounded out at 14 because I think it's cool. So we're good with the way that we are, and I think we are good the way that we are. The bonus action, Cunning Action, is really, really useful. However, we can still do the throw an improvised weapon or splash it on 5 feet of you and then grapple somebody, which is pretty cool. Regardless, we just have more ways to use our bonus action for valuable effects, and hopefully we survive using those ways and make it to level 3, where things start to pick up for us quite a bit. We're going to choose, of course, the Thief Rogue. There are lots of great rogue subclasses, but we're going to choose Thief. We get second story work. Climbing no longer costs us extra movement, which is nice. And when we make a running jump, the distance we cover increases by a number of feet equal to our dexterity modifier. Since we already have athletics proficiency, we can make that athletics proficient athletics check to jump really far, and then add our dexterity modifier to go even further, 4 feet further, in fact, which is not nothing. It's more than a little bit. Sorry, my eyes are going to get really red. I shouldn't have rubbed it like that. It's really good. It's situational, but it's very powerful. And then we get Fast Hands. What a beautifully written, super simply written feature. Starting at 3rd level, you can use the bonus action granted by your Cunning action, which we already know the rules for, to make a dexterity sleight of hand check, use your thieves' tools to disarm a trap or open a lock, or to take the use an object action. We are now going to be doing this almost every turn because it's really cool. It's like really good. It's really cool. So, we can, as a bonus action, throw caltrops on the ground and cover a 5-foot square of space with caltrops. We can throw ball bearings and cover a 10-foot square of space with ball bearings, both of which have saving throws and cause movement considerations. We can drop a hunting trap and just lure enemies to us as a bonus action. We can throw oil on a creature. We can, if we spend the time to make a flask of and the gold to make a flask of acid or a vial of acid, we can throw acid at a creature for 2d6 plus our damage. And we can do any of these things as a bonus action. And then we can stab them with our rapier as our action, or throw another thing at them. In fact, if we spend a lot of money, and I'm going to just grab one, I don't think we would have one by now, but if we spend a lot of money, we can buy a flask of Alchemist's Fire. They're really expensive, but it's sticky adhesive fluid. As an action, you throw it up to 20 feet and it shatters on impact. You make a ranged attack, treating the Alchemist's Fire as an improvised weapon. On a hit, the target takes 1d4 fire damage at the start of each of its turns, and there's an errata, a ruling that says you do add your dexterity modifier to that damage on the first turn, just the first time, and then 1d4 at the start of each of its turns. And it can end the damage by using its action. It has to use its action to even make a dexterity check to roll around and extinguish the flames. So if we hit them with this, at the very least, they end the damage. Now, here's the thing. They take fire damage when that starts, and if they have oil on them, the first time that the creature takes fire damage, they take an additional 5 fire damage from the burning oil. So if we bonus action throw oil on a creature, and then use our action to throw Alchemist's Fire on a creature, at the start of their next turn, they take 1d4 plus 4 from our dexterity, plus 5 from the oil. So they take 1d4 plus 9, and they then have to use their action if they want it to go away, or they continuously take 1d4 forever. Literally forever. Nice. That's a pretty good use of our bonus action and action, and that 1d4 plus 9, and then the thing might be worth just using our full round to make that happen. Sometimes, if we have Alchemist's Fire, it's really expensive, but bonus action, fuck sneak attack. Even though it's 2 more d6 right now, getting that set up in a round is amazing. Of course, if you still have a wizard who can cast Firebolt, you don't need to worry about it, but it's really, really good. It's really, really good. Now our damage is kind of cool. We can do a cool thing and then attack either with our rapier or with another cool thing. And the rapier strike now deals 2 extra d6s, so it's 1d8 plus 2d6 plus 4, which is pretty good damage. At level 3, that standard basic rogue damage is 15.5, which I think is the same as whatever the last build I built was at 15 at level 3. I think it was the Artificer with the lightning launcher, because they effectively get kind of sneak attack. Yeah, it was something like that. They might have been lower. Very cool. Oh, they had the homunculus. That's right. Okay. Very cool. So standard simple damage. Our damage, if we do that like Nova round of oil Alchemist's Fire, starts out, it's on the creature's next turn, so it's weird to calculate it. But first off, when we hit the, 1d4 plus 9, we don't get to add the damage to the, we don't get to add the damage to the roll of the oil hitting them because there is no damage roll. So it's just 1d4 plus 9 and then 1d4 in future. But that's still 11.5 average damage if we hit with both of them. That's really good. That's really good. And then there's the continued damage, and we make them waste their action to try to wipe it off of them, which is awesome. I think we just became way more versatile. Mostly we'll be using oil and hoping that somebody else has fire, or maybe we'll use our action to tinderbox to light the fire. I don't know. Might be worth it. Probably not worth it. Probably just stab them with your stabbing. And in that case, just bonus action hide, do standard rogue stuff. It'll get more interesting soon. For sure. For sure. Level 4. An ability score improvement. At this point, I'm sorely tempted to not bump our ability scores, but instead to take not a half feat, but a full feat. Get some magic in this boy. Okay, I will shout out a couple of other options. I think it's reasonable to take the healer feat on this character, because then you can use the healing kit as a bonus action to heal them. Yeah, and also as a bonus action to stabilize people. And we could heal people for 1d6 plus 4, plus additional HP equal to their number of maximum hit dice, so their level. And we can just do that per creature once per short rest, and it's 10 uses of a healer's kit. And that would be really cool. That would lean into our using items for lots of versatility, and we'd be a very efficient battlefield medic if we wanted to. However, there's a feat that I actually really want more than that, and it's pretty simple, I think. And it's a really simple feat for rogues to take, and I don't think we're going to get these bonuses from it from anywhere else. I don't plan to in this build, so picking up the feat is really worthwhile for me. So I'm going to take Magic Initiate Wizard. I'm a wizard, Harry. And I'm going to take Find Familiar, because there's no spell that has as much utility for a rogue. We will get ourselves a nice little owl familiar, because why would it be well, you're not going to get a fish or a seahorse or anything. We're going to get an owl. We're going to take 2 cantrips, and I think both of them are going to be fire-based. I think we're going to take Green Flame Blade. Now you see where I'm going? And actually, I think we might take Create Bonfire instead of Firebolt. We won't have the spell save DC to back it up. It'll be based around our +2 intelligence, which isn't terrible, But we won't have the spell save DC to back it up. But we also won't have the attack to hit with Firebolt. And I think it's more likely that things fail the saving throw on a deck save on Create Bonfire than they do otherwise. I also think, yeah, I think so. I think that's the move. You could take something more utility-based, I think. Now, okay, so you'd have to argue this, but maybe you could argue with your DM and ask them to if you could within range, which is short. I think it's only 10 feet for prestidigitation, but if you could like snap your fingers and just light the clothing of somebody that you had soaked in oil on fire with prestidigitation, because it lets you instantaneously light or snuff out a candle, torch, or small campfire. It's kind of like a torch, right? Now, of course, it's being worn or carried. It's different. It's not the same. I know it's different. You'd have to argue it, but I don't think it'll work. Maybe. I think I'm going to take Create Bonfire. Control Flames also could work, but you have to have fire already and then spread it, which is cool, but it doesn't have like damage effects. Okay, and no, we're not taking Booming Blade. That's not what we're building around. Not how this is going to go. Okay. At level 4, our damage goes up significantly because we get an interaction here where we can throw oil on somebody with a bonus action and then use Green Flame Blade on them as our action, and they take fire damage, so it lights them on fire. Hey, but let's go ahead and wait until we get to level 5 to do our damage report, I think, because then we get another die of sneak attack, and there's like a whole bunch of changes. So instead of jumping back and forth every level, I'll just show you when we hit those breakpoints where we ended up, and we'll talk about it as we go through, but we'll talk about it at 6 or 5 or 6. Yeah, why not 6? Okay. So, huge damage change now because we're doing the Green Flame Blade. We deal more damage to other people, but also we have a consistent way of lighting our own fire on fire without throwing Alchemist's Fire, which costs too much money to throw at stuff frequently. So, with our bonus action, we can throw really cheap 2 silver piece flasks of oil, or we can splash them if they're on a creature closer to us, and then we can Green Flame Blade stab them with our rapier, and shing, and they light on fire. And we just have to hit with the Green Flame Blade to make that happen, and just deals more damage. +5, flat fire damage. Maybe for 2 rounds, but we're not going to consider that it will because I don't think it works that way. Flat 5 fire damage as a bonus action, still pretty cool. Still really cool, especially because we now have advantage from our familiar. Okay, let's go up to level 5. We get 1 more d6 of sneak attack, and we get Uncanny Dodge to reaction reduce damage. Sick. Let's go up to 6. Boom. We're staying in Thief. I think we're staying in Thief. I think I'm going to stay in Thief until 8. Maybe 9? I don't like Supreme Sneak very much. 11 is amazing, but maybe 8. Evasion's too good to pass up. Okay, so we get expertises. We get a couple more. Yay! More acrobatics, more investigation, or sleight of hand. Maybe more investigation and sleight of hand. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, great. Let's do our damage report. Finally, we're at level 6 and we can do our damage report. Still no equipment changes. I guess we would pick up studded leather by now, I think. I'm going to assume that we do. Maybe we don't. Maybe we do. But I'm going to assume that it is possible for us to pick it up. Add to equipment. Add to my body. 16 armor class. Nice. Also, we're level 6. We've probably got more money. We've probably got some additional flasks of acid, some additional flasks of Alchemist's Fire, all these nice and lovely things. That's really cool. However, mostly we're still going to be using oil. So we will make an attack with our bonus action with a flask of oil to throw it at a creature. We will not try to make that attack with advantage. We will have our familiar fly in, hold its action until we are going to attack it with a flaming sword. And then it will use the help action. We don't want it to waste its help action on our flask of oil, because the oil only adds a little bit of damage. It doesn't matter as much as getting advantage on our attack and getting sneak attacks. So, we throw our flask of oil. If it hits, it coats them in oil. If it doesn't, it doesn't, but we hope that it does. Then, we slash out with our rapier at +7 to hit with advantage. Hopefully we hit. We deal 1d8 +4 plus 3d6 of sneak attack damage, plus 1d8 of fire damage, which leaps to another target, and if they are oiled, they take another 5 flat fire damage because they are lit on fire with the oil. Sucks for them. Okay, so our damage total was 15.5, I think, and now it is a lot more. 24.5 plus 5 flat damage if they are oiled for 29.5 at level 6. That's not bad. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Pretty darn good, actually. Pretty ding darn. Pretty Gucci. Okay. What next? Now, we've got our 6th level, we've got our expertise. I want 7th for evasion. We now take half damage from all dexterity saving throw effects, or no damage if we succeed. It's amazing. Now, I don't think we get that much from going further into rogue with this character. We get more sneak attacks. We just got another die, right? So we're not at a halfway point. We could multiclass out now, and we wouldn't lose any sneak attacks. We would just gain things from other classes. But of course, we would lose things because we would lose stuff, right? Maybe what we'll do is simply take a tiny little tiny detour in a weird direction. Maybe not that weird a direction. It's a pretty straightforward direction, honestly. Everybody understands this direction. It makes a lot of sense. We don't want to class into wizard. We took magic initiate for a reason so that we could stay just dex focused. We could drop levels in a whole bunch of classes and become multifaceted and have a bunch of weird spell slots and get real complicated and shit. I don't think that's this character. We use items because we use items. We're versatile. We're utility. We could go Bard 2 for Jack of all trades and just be really good at a bunch of stuff and get a little bit of spellcasting power. In fact, I'm actually quite tempted to do that at some point, but I'm not going to do it right now. Ooh, we could get dueling from that, couldn't we? But no, I think what I want to do is I want to go fighter. Bing bong. Okay, so we could get a shield if we wanted to now, because we get shields and we get medium armor. We don't really want to. We want a hand free to use all these objects. Technically, we could mess with the object interaction on our turn, which is different from the use an object action, but I don't really want to. The other thing is, I do want to go like 2 Bard, but I don't think I want to go 3 Bard unless I go like Whispers Bard, because then it doesn't cost me anything in sneak attack, sort of. I can use College of Whispers stuff for big bursty burst, sort of. Or I could go Swords Bard to have those to add to things. Ooh. And then Swords Bard gets a fighting style, and one of them is dueling, which is the one that I want from fighter anyway, right? Ooh. Oh, okay. I know what I could do. Then I could take blind fighting, right? But I think I would take superior technique as a fighter. Right? Because I don't need dueling that much. It's 2 damage per round because we're only making 1 attack per round. And I don't think I'm going to take like sorcerer levels to be able to quicken another attack as a bonus action or anything like that. I think I'll just be using that to throw flasks of stuff. And as we level up, those can be just straight flasks of alchemist's fire and then green flame blade a bitch, which is great. It's really cool. That's really cool. So I think I would take superior technique, and we gain 1 maneuver, 1 superiority die, and we'd have to choose it. We can't see it from here. It's not in the menu, which sucks. But I think we might take bait and switch to be able to move around a bunch with our allies and swap spaces with them, which could be cool. Or maybe pushing attack to try to push a creature into one of our hazards, so we could like run up, throw caltrops next to a creature, and then like run around them and try to push them into it with our green flame blade attack, because we can add it once we hit on the attack, right? I think that's exactly what we would do. We would take pushing attack and we'd use it for that purpose exactly. I like that a lot. We also gain second wind, so we get 1 extra 1d6 that we can add once per short rest, which is cool. So we don't really lose a d6 of sneak attack damage because we gain a d6 of fighter, sort of, which is really cool. And that's good for us. We also get a bunch more hit points for it, which is good because we're up in melee and we don't have a shield, so that's rough for us. That takes us to level 8, and then we go 2 in fighter. And at 2nd in fighter, we grab action surge. We can take an additional action. We still can't sneak attack on that additional action, but we can hold our second action. If we have advantage from a consistent source, like the creature is prone, or they're fairy fired, or something else gives us advantage on them, then we can hold our second action until any other creature's turn begins, literally until my turn is over. I'll hold it. And then we hold it to take the cast a spell action, and we cast Green Flame Blade. And we attack with a person again, and we sneak attack again. Action Surge gives us a once per day. If we're smart with it, we can get Sneak Attack twice in a round for free, activated by ourselves. That's dope. That's real dope. And I think that's as far in Fighter as we go. We could go up all the way into Battle Master. Oh, it's so much damage if we do. We won't go up toward extra attack, though, because we don't need it. One more level in Fighter to get a bunch more D8s that we can pump into our damage is so good. Yeah, okay. We go the one more into Battle Master. So that takes us to our 10. I'm sorry. We'll have to we'll have to just calc at 9. Okay, but we still get one maneuver on our main turn, so that's fine. Great. So at 9, all of our proficiencies go up a ton. Our dex is high. We have a great investigation because it's now an expertise as well. Our attacks hit at +8 for 1d8 +4. We still deal 4d6 of sneak attack damage because of our 7 levels in rogue. However, we also have action surge and we have a maneuver, and that maneuver is going to be pushing attack, which adds the damage to the thing. So on our turn, what we can do is we can throw oil at a creature, or acid, perhaps. Let's say at this point we can relatively consistently throw acid at a creature instead, or maybe perhaps Alchemist's Fire. So I'm going to calc generously for big Nova Boom Boom damage, which is we throw a 50 gold flask of Alchemist Fire at them. We can, of course, create them for 25 gold of materials and build them ourselves, because we have Alchemist's Tools proficiencies, Alchemist Supplies proficiency. But that hits them for less damage to start than it would be for anything else. But we don't have other fire on them, but it still deals 1d4 plus 4. And then we will, with our familiar's help, we will sneak attack them with advantage, hitting them, hopefully, for 1d8 plus 4d6 plus 4. And then we will add in our 1 Battle Master maneuver to that for 1d6 to push them a distance. Maybe we can hit them with get them into a hazard. That would be great. If somebody has one up, that's awesome. If we've already thrown down caltrops, that's great. Maybe they hit it, make a dex save, take 1 point of damage, and stop moving. Very cool. And then their speed is reduced by 10 for forever. Very cool. Or maybe not. Regardless, I'm not going to calc that in. Oh, and they take another D8 from Green Flame Blade. Sorry, I almost forgot about the other D8 from Green Flame Blade. And then we can Green Flame Blade again with our Action Surge for a measly, but actually quite respectable 2d8 plus 4. Hitting them probably without advantage, but it's still cool. Or we could hold that action and use our held action to strike the creature when it's not our turn. The next time that another creature begins moving, we attack this creature using our Green Flame Blade. And then we would get all of our sneak attack on top of it, our 4d6 as well. But we can't calculate for that exactly. I'm just going to say we action surge and unload, which is the dumb thing to do. Use your action surge more wisely than that. So our total Nova Burst round, Alchemist's Fire thrown, which is actually less damage than the cheaper acid. Maybe I'll just calc for the acid because it's dope, right? Okay, 2d6. 2d6 of acid damage plus 4 from our dex. Great. We throw acid. We strike with our Green Flame Blade. And then the second attack with Green Flame Blade. Great. So our total is, so it's 7d6 plus 5d8 plus 12 of acid, fire, and sneak attack damage. Dope. Plus maybe extra bouncy fire damage, but I'm not calcing that in. Just the single target. So that's 6 from the dice. 5 times 8 is 40. 7 times 6 is 42. So 82 halved is 41? What the fuck? Did I fuck it up? No. Plus 40 divided by 2. Oh shit. 41 damage on the dice? Plus 6, because there are 12 dice. So half the number of dice is the average, right? Plus 4 for hitting them with the acid, plus 4 for hitting them with the rapier, plus 4 for hitting them with the rapier is 12. So your Nova average damage round is 59? That's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage. That's kind of fucking cool. If we take the sneak attack out, right? So, I mean, I'm sorry, if we take the acid out, if we don't use acid, so it goes down by that. Okay, so if we don't use acid, it goes down by like 7. Yeah, because it's 2d6 into 1d4. It goes down by less than 7. It goes down by 4.5 if we use Alchemist Fire instead. And then the Alchemist Fire has the Rioter continuing damage effect, so it might deal damage more for longer, and it might make the creature stop and waste their turn getting it off of them. But if instead we throw oil on them, we don't get one of the +4s, so the total goes down by 4 to 55. And then we throw oil on them, but then the total goes down completely by the 2d6, which is 7. So it goes down by 7, 52, and then down by 4, 48. But then it goes up by 5 because of the flat fire damage. So it's 48 back up to 53 if we just use the cheapest thing that we can do with our bonus action, which is to throw oil at them. That's still 53 damage on the Nova. And, like, only 2d8 plus 4 of that damage is coming from the second attack, from the action surge attack. It's still an amazing portion of the damage. It's why it's so high, is that we're action surging. But really, like, our sustained damage, considering if we have 10 oil flasks, which we might, we could throw oil at them, probably hit, throw oil, get an attack with advantage for 1d8 plus 4d6 plus 4, and then not use our Battle Master maneuver, but get the other d8 from Green Flame Blade. So we still deal 2d8 plus 4d6, 27. Oh, plus 5 from the oil is 32 sustainable damage per round as long as we have oil flasks. Throw oil on somebody, Green Flame Blade. Throw oil on somebody, Green Flame Blade, advantage from familiar help. Throw oil on somebody, Green Flame Blade, advantage from a familiar help. Throw oil on somebody, Green Flame Blade, advantage from familiar help. Throw oil on somebody, Green Flame Blade, advantage on familiar help. That's cool. That's cool damage. That's a useful thing. Also, we can throw out caltrops and hunting traps, stuff like that. Fully, if we have time to set up, we can make the whole fight hell for our opponents. It's great. Okay. I think we do go ahead and at 10, grab Fighter 3, and become a full-blown Battle Master. Battle Master. We get an Artisan's Tool. Pick what you want. Might be something more useful than I don't know. How about Jeweler's Tools? So that we can, we like shiny things, and we like to appraise them. I don't know. Do whatever you want. Maneuvers. Oh, how I love thee. How can I count the ways? We still have one maneuver from that thing, but we can't choose it or put it on our sheet, so it's like, bleh. So we already have pushing attack, and we can use that maneuver with other dice that we have, and we add the die that we already have to all the dice that we have. Let's grab trip attack so that we can trip people and make them fall down on a strength save. It's really useful. Pushing attack doesn't have a strength save. No, it does. Okay. We could quick toss to bonus action throw ranged weapon attacks that are thrown, which would give us another attack as a bonus action, which is cool, but we already have our bonus action weaponized differently, so we don't need it. I think for a rogue like us, lunging attack is not that bad. I don't think it's one of the best, but it is okay. You can, when you make a weapon attack, melee weapon attack, you can expend one superiority die to increase your reach by 5 feet, and if you hit, you add the superiority die to the attack's damage roll. This would let us throw something from range, and then still at range, apply Green Flame Blade to them. Does that work on reach weapons? I think it does. Maybe not. Is it self 5 feet? Maybe not. Maybe I won't take lunging attack. Riposte is really good, just because it gives us this reaction make a melee weapon attack, and then if we have advantage from some source or a creature is standing near us, we get to add the superiority die, and we get to sneak attack again. And then Fainting Attack is just useful because it lets us expend a bonus action and just grant advantage on our next attack roll this turn, which could be a Green Flame Blade. And if we don't have a way to get advantage otherwise right now, this is very useful. And if we hit, we still add the superiority die, so another d8 to damage. That's really good. And we can pump, of course, Trip Attack and Pushing Attack into our big Nova rounds if we want to, or use them more, whenever. And same thing with like using riposte or feinting attack. When we feel the need to do it, we can do it. When riposte comes up, we probably want to do it as long as we think we could get sneak attack on the attack that we get. Basically, we just made ourselves way more versatile and damage deal E and much spikier. If creatures get near us, it's much worse for them. And we have a lot more options now. So we're doing great. We're doing lovely. Hey, her. Okay. So that's us at 10. Obviously, our damage goes up because of all of those maneuvers, but we're not going to even calc that round until 13. So let's head on up toward 13. We are 10 right now. If we go 2 more rogue, we get another d6 of sneak attack, and we get supreme sneak, and we get an ASI. These are all nice. If we go Bard now, we get Inspiration, which is not something we're going to use because it's our bonus action. Song of Rest, Spell Casting, Jack of all trades at second, and then a Bard College. And we could get a good Bard College like Swads. I think I'm going to do that. I know it's crazy to do that. You miss 2 dice of sneak attack. Kind of really just 1. You already multiclassed. I know. But we can still get up to Rogue 11 later. I just want to take some Bard levels. Dink. Donk. There's no reason not to. It gives us more damage, too. It's different, but it gives us different kinds of more damage. It's great. Okay, we get proficiency in an instrument. I'm going to choose the pan flute because I like it. We get 1 proficiency from a big list. Pick whatever you want. It's not really going to matter that much because of reasons. Maybe we grab that deception finally that we've been wanting. Yeah. We get Bardic Inspiration. It's a bonus action. You give somebody a thing. They can use it to make a thing happen, and it's better than if they didn't have that thing happen. It's really useful. It's not as useful as you think it is, but it is that useful. We're not going to use it a lot because we have better uses for a bonus action right now, but it lasts for 10 minutes and it's not concentration, so anytime we get a chance before combat, we can just be like, inspiration. I think we only have 3. Inspiration, and just give them out to everybody and be like, all right, I used the thing, it's done. And that's pretty good. That's actually quite versatile and quite useful. We can't give it to ourselves for our own skill checks, which sucks, but that's okay. And we get some spells. And we're not going to be casting these in combat very much, I don't think. We're going to grab Mage Hand because it's useful for a rogue, and we like having some magic. We're going to grab Prestidigitation in case we can light stuff on fire. Maybe we can, maybe we can't. Who knows? We don't get any other fire cantrips, and that's all we get. Still, Prestidigitation is quite useful. We don't need Vicious Mockery. We have better uses for our action. RE, Sneak Attack, RE, Green Flame Blade. We could take Fairy Fire or something, or Hideous Laughter and try to knock somebody down. We don't really have the saving throw spell save DC. Sleep isn't going to be useful at this level, sorry. Longstrider is great. It's non-concentration for an hour. We only have a couple spell slots. We might as well burn one on that. Healing Word is great. Be able to heal somebody at a distance without fucking doing anything about it. Just use a bonus action. Superb. We love it. We can still cast Green Flame Blade on that turn. Who cares? Like, awesome. Disguise Self, it makes us disguised. We're a rogue. That's awesome. We don't want Charm Person is a thing we don't want. I don't know. Featherfall, we can jump off stuff. And that's all our Bard spells. Tons of utility gained from 1 level. Longstrider, we can cast on ourselves or somebody else and gain 10 feet of movement speed. Amazing. Healing Word, we can use as an at-will in-combat heal. Not at-will. A very infrequent in-combat heal up to 60 feet away. Verbal components only. Amazing. Featherfall, we just need a piece of feathers, and we throw it, and we and up to 4 or 5 of our friends, or 4 of our friends, don't take any falling damage. Let's go. Disguise Self, we can become disguisified. Awesome. This is a great level for us. We gain a bunch of utility and a bunch of versatility and a bunch of things, but we're not going to do damage calcs because it doesn't really matter. We didn't really gain any damage from this level, right? In fact, maybe we lost damage because we could have had an ASI, and that wouldn't have really... I mean, we could have put our ASI into maxing Dex, and that would have been good. We might want to do that, but I want Bard too. Ding. Jack of all trades. So, Song of Rest as well. Nice. Get a little bit more health back all the time, but Jack of all trades gives us half our proficiency bonus, which is now +2, because it's +4, to all of the skills that we don't have proficiency in. Mwahaha. +4 to everything, +6 to many things, +8 to some things, and +10 to many other things, and also some +12s. Look at us go. Look at us go. We got a whole bunch of skills. We're so cool. We're so cool. Look at our passive investigation. It's so high, and that's not even our main stat. Although the artificer that I built had like a 27 passive investigation. Fucking hell, man. Still, we're not at level 12, level 13, which is when I'm going to do the damage report. So we go 3 Bard. And thank God, because finally we actually get something for being in Bard this long. It's not true. We've had Bard things from being in Bard this long already. We get some expertises, which is cool. Let's grab Athletics. Why not? And Perception. Oh, why not? Cool. We can see better and we can grab better. Love it. We could choose any Bard college. They're all pretty cool. We could get a bunch of utility things from different ones, but all of it would kind of cost our bonus action and stuff and make things harder for us, I think. There are 2 that stand out. One is the College of Whispers, because it lets us use a Bardic Inspiration and expend it to deal an extra 2d6 of psychic damage to a target, which means it's just like if we were 3 levels in Rogue, or 3 levels further in Rogue in terms of our damage. We just have a limit on how many times we can do it. Interesting. Also, Words of Terror, we can fuck with somebody's mind real hard and fuck them up, and it's really cool. Yeah, that's Whispers. And then there's Valor. Valor gets some armor proficiencies we don't need, and Combat Inspiration, which we don't need. Cool. And then there's Swords. Swords gets Blade Flourishes and a Fighting Style. And medium armor in the scimitar, which we already have, and we can use our martial or simple melee weapons as spellcasting focuses for our bard spells, which means we don't have to fucking use focuses at all, because we have a rapier out, right? Still have a rapier out. Let's go. So we are going to take the dueling fighting style, because that's what we've been doing our whole life, and we're not going to change. We're not going to start making multiple attacks with a bonus action, because we want to hit them once with a green flame blade. It deals more damage. And, oh yeah, at 11, our Green Flame Blade damage went up, which is dope. And we can use our Blade Flourishes. We can expend a Bardic Inspiration to cause the weapon to deal extra damage to a target. Every one of them does that, and then an extra thing happens. It adds to our AC, or it adds to another creature, which is cool. If there are 2 creatures in range for Green Flame Blade, you can add more damage with a Slashing Flourish, and that's cool. And with a Mobile Flourish, of course, you can move them away from you, push them, which we can add a pushing attack from our maneuvers to. And then you can immediately use your reaction to move up to your walking speed to an unoccupied space within 5 feet of the target, which is very cool. So we can push them a long distance and then follow them. Mostly, if we use this, we're probably going to use defensive because it's really strong. If we have Green Flame Blade in range, we're going to use that. But let's look at our damage, because it changes a lot. We've had some serious changes. We finished off Battle Master, and we upgraded our Green Flame Blade, and we grabbed 3 levels in a Bard subclass that gives us additional damage. So we add a bunch of extra dice on our Nova rounds. Let's check how many Bardic Inspiration we have. Just 2. So that's rough. Our damage was, on our Nova round, 59 plus or minus. It's 59 if we use a vial of acid. So it's the most damage that we can get. And then it's the damage difference between that and just using Alchemist's Fire is like 4, I think. And then the damage difference between that and just using oil is like 9, I think. It's something like that. But our sustainable damage was also really good. I think we don't have any real changes except the D8s from Green Flame Blade to our sustainable damage. So most of our change has come from finishing off Battle Master and getting the Bard stuff. So let's talk about it. Cool. We now... Wait. Why is my damage 1d8 plus 6? Oh, because we picked up dueling. That's right. I forgot. Okay, so on our turn, we bonus action throw a vial of acid at a creature for 2d6 plus 4. We don't get the dueling damage to it, of course, but we use our offhand to do it, and now we're only wielding a weapon, but we were anyway because it's just an object. 2d6 plus 4. Then we Green Flame Blade with advantage from our familiar, and we deal 1d8 plus 2d8 from Green Flame Blade, plus 6, plus Sneak Attack. Also, technically, with that attack roll on our bonus action attack, we could put a Battle Master maneuver on that if we wanted to. If we hit with it, we can add a pushing attack, or more likely, we can add a trip attack to it to simply grant ourselves advantage on the next attack, and we'll deal an extra d8 of damage. Should I factor it into our Nova? I think I can. I will. I'm going to. It's dumb as fuck, but I'm going to. Why not? If we hit with it, we might as well. So, plus 1d8 from the Battle Master maneuver to hit with trip attack, and hopefully we knock them down. If we don't, we still get familiar advantage. If we do, we get advantage on our last attack as well, the action surge one, because our familiar can wait until then. But we hit them with our green flame blade for 1d8 plus 2d8 of fire plus 6, plus 4d6 of sneak attack, because we haven't leveled up in rogue one bit. Plus, we can throw another maneuver on here. In fact, let's say that we do the mobile flourish into maneuver pushing attack on this attack, okay? So we drop a d8 and a d6 into them, one for the mobile flourish and one for the pushing attack, and they take the damage regardless, but they have to make a saving throw for the things. There's no save. They just get pushed, and we can use our reaction to move our walking up to our walking speed to an unoccupied space within 5 feet of them. Awesome. So we'll push in pushing attack and the mobile flourish for 1d8 and 1d6. And I think that's it. I feel like that's it. And then we're going to action surge, and we're going to hit them with green flame blade again for 1d8 plus 2d8. And then we're going to put in, because we mobile flourish moved up to them again, we're going to put in another maneuver. We can't do another flourish because they're once per turn, but we can, perhaps they didn't fall to our first trip attack, and so we will maneuver trip attack them again. Even if they did fall to our first trip attack, we're still going to pump it in there, especially if we crit. So that's another d8 from that, plus, of course, our 6 from damage as a rapier attack. Yes? Yes. Yes to all of these things. So our total damage is going to take me some time. It's 2d6 plus 4 plus 1d8, and then 1d8 plus 2d8 plus things. Okay, so 2d6, 6d6, 7d6, 7d6, great. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 d8s. Haha. Plus 4, plus 6, plus 6. So plus 16 for the dueling bonus and our dex for each one. But the thrown weapon doesn't get the dueling bonus. Okay. So that's 72 plus 42, right? Right. 72 plus 42 is 114 divided by 2 is 57, plus half the number of dice, which is 16, so plus 8, and then plus 16. So our Nova damage has gone up by almost 30-ish, 22. It's 81 is what I've calculated. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I've miscounted it, but it seems about right to me. Awesome. And our sustained damage has gone up a lot too. I think we should calc that out. If we're just using oil, I think is what we'll use for our sustained damage, then we just get no damage on the oil, but we assume that it hits. We get 3d8 of damage and then booming blade damage plus 4d6 of sneak attack damage plus 6. Plus 5 for the burning oil, so plus 11 total. Lovely. So 20, 27.5, 38.5 is our average if everything hits with our thrown weapon and then our green flame blade. Sustainable-ish, throwing oil flasks, damage every round for a while. Nice. 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 Love it. And of course, we can use that to do other things too. Now, at this point, you could go more Bard and get slightly bigger damage dice on your mobile flourishes and stuff. and maybe some more spells, but having some first level spells is kind of nice. And then, oh, we get second level spells because we do get them. Probably things that don't require saving throws. Maybe just grab knock for those pesky locks that won't open no matter what. And invisibility, because every good rogue should be able to be invisible. Maybe enhanceability would be cool. Maybe we unprepare something else. I'm not going to worry about it right now. Or like switch one when we level up. I'm not going to worry about it right now. I don't think I'm going further into Bard. So I think those are the spells that I'll grab, and those will be what I'll lock in. I think the best thing that we can do for our damage and just general being around is probably to dip into 4 different other classes. Get Sorcerer and use Green Flame Blade as a bonus action too. I think there's something to be said for going to Paladin, even 3 to pick up some more spells and some like Oath features, and a Channel Divinity. You'd even go 3 Vengeance Paladin, get that permanent advantage thing, and just make everything super better. That would be cool. We're only level 13. We could still do that. Still, I think at this point in our character's career, we would go back to rogue levels and grab that level 8, finally round out our dexterity with our ability score improvement. Dex. Nice. Feels really good. All our damage goes up by 3 on our Nova, whatever. Our thrown weapon damage goes up by more. That's awesome. Up to level 15, 9 in rogue. We get Supreme Sneak. We have advantage on Dexterity Stealth if we only move half our speed. That's cool. It's useful. And I think we're going to go all the way to 11. Boom. Ability score improvement. We could bump Con, or we could get a feat. I'm going to look at feats. I'm going to think. I'm going to take Skulker. Boom. Here's why. The weakest link in our whole damage round is the first attack that we make when we throw a vial of something at somebody or a flask of oil. And the problem with that is we don't have advantage on it because our familiar is only waiting to help us when we do Green Flame Blade, when we attack with a fire sword. And then our familiar will help us, and we get advantage on that one. Unless, of course, we add a trip attack to the attack, but it's most likely that we will miss that attack unless we have advantage from an external source that I can't account for. So, here's the thing. Our ideal in combat would be to start combat by, like, being hidden, maybe, and throwing one of those things. And it is a ranged weapon attack, so Skulker means dim light doesn't impose disadvantage on your wisdom perception checks relying on sight. You can try to hide when lightly obscured from the creature from which you are hiding, which means in dim light or darkness, or fog, light obscuration things, whatever. And when you are hidden from a creature and miss it with a ranged weapon attack, making the attack doesn't reveal your position. So if we throw a flask of oil at them and it explodes next to them, they don't notice it. They don't know where it came from, at least. We still get that advantage from being hidden. You're still hidden from them. You can't surprise them necessarily, but you're still hidden. That's super cool for us. So very useful, especially because we just got that advantage on stealth checks, and we hit 11 and 17, which is an important milestone level, and we get a floor of 10 for all of our skill checks that have our proficiency bonus. So our floor for almost all of our skills is 15, and our floor for the skills that we have proficiency in gets really, really high. Like our lowest athletics check is 24, I believe. So if we ever want to throw a thing at somebody and then grapple them, we probably win the grapple check. Probably. Our passive perception is 24. Our passive investigation is 24. Rogues are good, man. Rogues are good. Also, of course, we've rounded our damage, so everything is higher. We get an extra d8 from Green Flame Blade, so each of our attacks when we make Green Flame Blade attacks deals an extra d8. This character's really strong, yo. And our stink attack damage has gone up by not 1, but 2 dice of damage. And that is fucking lovely. So good. So total damage goes up by 2d6 and then by plus 2d8 for each of our Green Flame Blade attacks on our Nova round. And then the plus 16 goes up by 2, so it's plus 18. So just plus 2 for now. So that our average damage goes up from 81 to 99. Interesting. On our Nova round. Cool. All right. Cool. All right. That's pretty fucking good. And then our sustained damage, of course, goes up by 1d8 from Green Flame Blade and by 1 from our dex going up. So a total of 4.5, 5.5, 44 total instead of 38.5 every round with sneak attack, assuming, which we can get from our familiar probably. Also our AC 17, which is nice. We're a really good rogue. We've got evasion, we've got uncanny dodge, we've got all the things. We could just continue to get a better rogue. I mean, obviously, we could have built toward Thieves' Reflexes and take 2 turns, and those full turns are, like, amazing, and you get sneak attack twice. It's awesome, but we're not building toward that. We only get 3 more levels. I mean, that is 1 more die of sneak attack, but 1, 2, 3 just gets us to blind sense, which is cool. And of course, use magic device, where we can just use any magic device. It doesn't count as our object interaction as a bonus action, but it is good. Or we could multiclass, or we could take more in a class. We could go up to extra attack and just have that, but Green Flame Blade deals more damage at this point, unless we're pumping more maneuvers into it, and we might be, but we might not be. I think we just go full in, straight up to level 14 rogue, level 20 total. Maybe we just go 13 and we go 1 in something else, but I don't know what you would go in. Warlock, get a single short rest spell slot just for fun. But we can hear and know the location of any hidden or invisible creature within 10 feet of us, which is nice. We can use any magic devices, which is nice. Actually fantastic, but it's really nice. And we get an ASI. We bump our con. Boop. Bop. And we're really good at everything. Woohoo! Level 20, dope-ass rogue. Bunch of damage, big Nova rounds, good sustained damage. Love the character. Yay, we did it. I think that's going to be it for this build. It ended up being one of them, like, simple builds, kind of. Just a simple rogue that dishes out some Nova damage. But also, I built around the Thief subclass, and I think I built it properly. What it doesn't really show in this build is the actual versatility that you have in a lot of encounters. Instead of trying to just deal the most damage in every turn, throwing out these traps and these like flaming pools of oil and stuff that creates battlefield control without concentration is incredibly valuable. And I don't think I can sell it to you without like doing it on a battle map and showing what you could actually get up to with a character like this. It's really cool, and I think you have to think outside the box with a character like this, more than thinking about just the damage that you deal. Obviously, we still build a respectable damage dealer who gets some extra damage from the fact that they've weaponized their bonus action and their ability to create flasks of acid and alchemist fire and stuff. But I feel like I have undersold the control aspect of this character and how much impact they can have on a battlefield in terms of shaping that battlefield and putting down hazards like ball bearings and caltrops. And the fact that for a couple of turns, if you spend a couple turns doing it, you can throw caltrops as a bonus action and ball bearings as an action and cover like a 10-foot cube, a 10-foot square of space, and then a 5-foot square of space, and really do a lot with just that in one turn. But then they last and they stay there. And as long as your allies know what you're doing, you can throw out a couple more sets of the same sorts of things and create a bunch of different hazards and funnel your enemies toward your melees and like keep your casters safe behind a wall of caltrops and keep everybody who's at range safe from these things and let them know where the things are. But like if you have time to set up, you can set up a room with caltrops at the entrance so that creatures run into them and they stop, and you just get to unload on them for free until they get healed, which they might not do, or they just get slowed until they get healed, which is just permanent. They're just slowed and you get to unload on them with ranged attacks and spells and stuff. Or ball bearings, they all run into the room and they just start falling over themselves, right? It's a low DC dex save, but at low levels, that's all you need to make huge effects happen. There's a reason that Grease is a great first level wizard spell, even though it's a dex save at a pretty low DC because you're a low level wizard and it's just grease on the floor, but it makes people slip and fall, and sometimes it works. And same thing with ball bearings. They're just not a spell. You just can do them as a bonus action. You can just throw them out there with the character like this, and that's amazing. It's really good. And anything that you throw at a creature, you can deal your dex damage because you're proficient with improvised weapons, and that's really nice. I like this character a lot. I like actually just how versatile and how much it can do because it works. There's so many things that it can do in my mind, and it's so versatile in terms of skill proficiencies and what you could actually take and still make it work. I think the level 4, just grabbing Magic Initiate Wizard, is so worth it to grab that Green Flame Blade and just be able to light your oil on fire for every round. I think it bumps our average sustained damage because you just add that flat 5 damage for your bonus action. Compare that to warlocks who have like Maddening Hex, which adds their charisma modifier as a bonus action of damage, psychic damage to a creature who's hexed. It's really similar, and I think it works really well in our circumstances too, and adds a lot to the sustainable damage of this rogue. Obviously, if this rogue is critting at all, and they will be at some point, they're dealing insane damage because the Green Flame Blade, the sneak attack, the maneuvers, the bardic thing, they have so many ways to add additional damage to a critical hit that things just evaporate when this creature stabs them. So oil them up, stab them, and kill them real hard with advantage from your familiar. I think it's really fun. I think it's a simple, straightforward rogue, honestly. It's just a little bit more complicated than a normal rogue. A simple rogue will just be bonus action hiding, mostly, and, maybe take mobile feat, sneak attack, run away, bonus action hide, sneak attack, run away, bonus action hide, sneak attack, run away. Of course, finding somewhere to be obscured and finding some cover to hide behind, but still just doing that. In any case, I think this character build works pretty good, and I like it a lot, and I'm going to wrap there. So thank you for watching all the way to level 20. I appreciate it. If you want to check out more stuff, you can check out the Patreon and help me make more content, and that's really cool. Otherwise, I will see you the next time I decide to do one of these, which will hopefully be soon. See you there. Peace.